live with Connie Digital tonight. I, as usual, just gonna give everyone a few minutes to come in. When you're in the chat, say hi so we know you're here and that you can hear us okay. Um, and then we'll get started in a few minutes. I'm super excited to have you on tonight, Connie. Thank you for doing this. Because I know you're not typically on these shows, but I really appreciate it, and this is going to be a really exciting one. Hey,
Yes, thank
Gemini
you.
Rising. Thanks for popping in the chat. Hey, OpenNFT. OpenNFT said one of my
Oh,
faves. I know you're not typically on these shows, but
uh-oh. We got feedback. Hold on.
that's
Sorry
right.
about that.
No worries. It's actually nice to have that open too, so you can see the chat if you want. Hey, Easy in Crypto.
Yeah, we out here.
Yay.
What's up, everybody?
Thank you guys for hopping in right on time. You guys are always, I'm always surprised because I feel like I always show up to things a couple minutes late when I'm attending. But you guys are always right on time. Thank you. I'm just going to make sure it's all up here. Sweet.
Easy, what's up, man?
Easy put a really sweet comment in my Discord about you, that you're a master and that you got him into the space and you're a trailblazing pioneer,
Oh,
which I agree, which we're going to
wow.
talk about later because I swear that every. Oh, you easy. I have multiple alarms set. That's awesome. Um, I
Oh,
we'll talk about this more, but actually, let's get started. We have some people in here, and this looks awesome. Connie, please do more V Vendetta art. Oh, we're getting some requests already. Um,
okay.
but let's get started. I am just super excited to do this show with you. We briefly met in New York for NFT NYC, which was awesome, and you gave me a super sick sticker that I have, and it's like numbered on the back, so I don't want to take the back off.
Yeah.
But hey, Bidsport. But anyways, you've been in this space for a while, and it's really interesting because on these streams, and I put this in my tweet, and I genuinely mean it, and the people that are in the comments that watch these know as well, you are like the most brought up person on these shows, which is so cool. And people from all different aspects, from crypto voxels, from scent, from all these different aspects, they're like, oh yeah, either Connie brought me in or I saw Connie's work and was totally blown away by what he was able to do with such like limited, I guess, tools because it was so early on, and that's really what inspired me to come into the space. So just a huge shout out to you, just kind of trailblazing and being a pioneer on so many different platforms because that's not easy to do, and I feel like you're always just on top of it. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it tonight.
Sweet. Yeah, that's super humbling. For everybody who follows what I do, man. It's super exciting. I'm happy that the community appreciates what I do. So
Yeah, and you do all
let's
sorts
talk
of
about it.
stuff. Yeah, you do all sorts of stuff, which is nice. And I even like, even echoing what I just said, I remember Dan from OpenSea, which I love him. He's so awesome, and he just had a baby, so he was on
Word.
leave. So congrats to him if he's listening to this later on. But even like when
Congrats,
he,
Dan.
yeah, even when he tweeted when they had just released the embeddable NFTs, and they were like, all right, Connie's already done it. And like it had been released for like, I don't even know, like hours, not even a day. And it's like, of course, like you are the first person to do it, which is just so awesome. But to start this kind of off on that note, I would love to just hear about why you came into this space and like what piqued your interest because so many people are inspired by your work. I'd love to know what inspired you and got you interested in this space in the beginning.
Okay. So I came into crypto in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's when I first learned about Bitcoin. And then in 2014, I actually started working in the space. I work for various projects, doing writing, doing social media marketing, things like that. Projects like Cointelegraph, Epicenter Bitcoin, which is a podcast. I think it's called Epicenter now. and a handful of other projects. And so, like, I've really been in the space for, I guess, 7 years now. And in 2017, when CryptoKitties launched, it kind of like blew my mind. Like, I think everyone's entry point is kind of like CryptoKitties. And this whole concept of non-fungibles and what they were doing with these cats and breeding them on the blockchain. And I spent way too much money on CryptoKitties back then, which I totally lost some money on those, but it's all good. So after that happened, I started to learn more about Wax and what they were doing EO blockchain prior to them launching their own blockchain. And then in 2019, I started to learn more about NFT art, crypto art, tokenizing different artworks. Came into learning about super rare and known origin, and Codex was around at the time, Make Place, and this was early 2019. And then I've just been down the rabbit hole for 18 months now. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's amazing. I didn't know you were in the space for that long and working with all those groups. That's really exciting to hear because when I had a similar way later than you, but I had a similar when I got interested in crypto. I was like, how can I work in this? And I was doing design jobs and designing people's pitch decks and websites and all that stuff just to kind of like get my foot in the door and like learn more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's super interesting to know that you were, writing for these platforms and probably just like absorbing all the information you could be absorbing. So that's super interesting. What
Yep.
I think CryptoKitties is interesting that was the kind of launched you into NFTs because that launched a lot of people into NFTs. Even though there were some projects obviously before CryptoKitties, but that was a great one to kind of get introduced and excited about. When you started seeing these art platforms, were you creating art on the side for a long time? Have you always been an artist and musician, or was it kind of like sparked that you had a platform to create for, and then you started doing it more?
Oh, so I've always been an artist growing up. As far back as I can remember, I was always drawing and coloring. And I remember I would create like comic books back in the day. I was big into Dragon Ball Z, so I would create my own like little characters and make my own comic books. And I would collect like Simpson toys. I would collect zines and things like that. And back in middle school, I had this group of friends. It was four of us, uh, gang. And I would draw us like little characters and stuff, right? And my father would take my drawings and he would go and have them printed on T-shirts, like silkscreen or
Oh,
whatever.
cool.
And then right, I would go with them to school, and people would lose their fucking minds and shit. And they're like, "Where can I get one?" Blah blah blah. And this was in middle school, so it was always a thing every time I had a new shirt. And then I kind of did the same thing in high school, and then I started my own line, right? So I would do custom painted T-shirts and hats and just like streetwear,
Yeah.
different apparel. And I was building up my clientele. I was selling them to the students, the track team. I was selling them out the barbershop. This whole thing. Um, and then like I did a jersey for a minor league baseball team, and I got accepted to like one of the top fashion schools in the country. And my ambition at the time, I thought I was going to be like like a famous fashion designer. But that kind of all fell apart. But music was also a big part throughout that whole thing as well. Like I've been writing music since I was 12. Um, really started recording when I was 18. So I've always had my hand in some sort of artistic expression. And so when I learned about NFTs, it was like a new frontier almost, where I could, tokenize my creativity now. And I like, honestly though, like I took a hiatus from creating. I was just going through like this low period, like this valley of just like learning about who I am and like just going through, life struggles and whatever. So I wasn't really creating during this time, but learning about NFTs kind of sparked that flow again for me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense, and that's exciting that was able to spark that flow again. Because sometimes people don't get that spark again, and to have that spark be something that you already had experience building a brand and selling products, and then to be able to take that over to this and really start that up again is really awesome. I'd love to talk a little bit about your music because I feel like there are a few people in the space that are creating music on this topic. But when I say a few, they're really like a few. There are not that
Yeah.
many. I don't mean a few as in like a portion, like there are a few. And there is definitely some talent out there, but it's not extremely well known, or people obviously when they're thinking of tokenized music, like you are the person that comes to my head, and then of course DJ J Skrilla, and a couple others. But I would love to talk about just what is your inspiration when you're creating music, and what is your goal for your music? Is it to have like the most people listen to it? Is it to have whoever knows about it can connect with it? Like, what is the goal and what is your inspiration with that?
Okay. Great question. So I'm inspired by life, really. Um, so my music always has a message to it, right? So for those that don't know, I write and record hip hop music. That's rap music, the genre that you would put in. But like it's not what you would hear on the radio or some of this commercial stuff that you would hear. My messages are a lot deeper. It with like social norms or like just certain things going on in the world. Like I think the song you're probably most familiar with is the Holding song, which is tokenized on Makerspace. And that song was really just about like what's going on in the world as far as like COVID and like the elections coming up and just like all the chaos that's really going on. And to that point too, like I've actually created a new song during this whole quarantine time that was really inspired and fueled by this this new world that we're living in. Um, but to answer the question about like the goals and stuff, my music is not for everybody. Like I said, it's not a commercial sort of thing. I could do commercial music if I so desired, but typically my music is more for deep thinkers, people who are looking for inspiration or something a little more thought provoking.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, music, like the music you create, is closer to, in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's closer to poetry than it is to what we're hearing on the radio. Like
Yeah.
in high school, I was in. Do you? I don't know if it's in a lot of other schools. In the comments, if you know what I'm talking about, tell me. But do you know what spoken word is? Was that a group at
Oh
your
yeah.
school? Okay, so I was in spoken word, and like the group that like perform, because it's a performance, like it was just so crazy, like the amount of like feels that you get when you listen to music like that is nothing that you would get when you're listening to like the traditional or really popular music that you hear on radios. And I don't want to categorize that as a whole, but it's definitely a different experience, and it's more like you're truly getting a piece of the artist's like life and feeling and like emotion all within it, which is why in my opinion it's more like poetry than it is like just the songs on the radios, if that makes sense.
No,
um,
totally.
I would love, do you want to, I don't know if this is a good time, but do you want to play something maybe for people who have heard your music or who haven't? Do you want to play something on here
Uh, I would I would definitely like, but maybe we save that for
a little bit later?
a little later. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, tell
We
me
got to
when you.
keep them watching, man. Shit.
True, true. No, that's a good point. We showed on No Shot stream. We showed his video a little later in the stream, and then people were like, "Play it again." So we played it again. But that's a good idea.
I remember. That was
Yeah,
cool.
that was a fun one. So when you, I guess like, I always wonder, and I never ask artists this because like I don't, I barely know the answer when someone asks me this. But do you have a like favorite project or song that you've worked on so far, or do they all just connect to different parts of your life so they all have importance?
Um, the song that I want to share a little later is very important to me. I'll tell you why. So, like I said, the song was created during the quarantine time, right? The lockdown, the global lockdown, COVID. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? So, during this time, like in March, I dropped Holding on Maker's Place, right? And I had this momentum going. People really enjoyed the song. People were purchasing the tokens on Maker's Place. It was going well. You even did as well. So I thank you for that. And so there was this momentum, right? So I wanted to follow it up, another song, but the lockdown hit. The studio I go to closed. I don't actually have a studio in home, which this lockdown has showed me that I need to invest in getting some equipment in this particular place where I'm at now. But anyway, so the studio got locked down. I couldn't get to the studio. I didn't have any mics here. Like I was writing like crazy, but I couldn't record and get out what the hell I wanted to say, right? So
Mm.
um anyway, I ended up a mic from Target, thankfully. Like it's just like this rinky dink mic, but it worked. I was able to get my thoughts out, recorded. I sent it to my friend who actually produced it for me, and he did his best to mix the beat for me. And so I actually have a song. It might not be the greatest quality, but it means a lot to me just because of the effort I put to actually manifest it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm super excited to hear that one later on. Especially because this is like, and I'm sure all of us can agree, this is such an important time in our world right now, and not just with COVID, but a lot with everything else going on in the world, and just standing up for human rights, for people
Yeah.
who don't have them. A lot of obviously the Black community. So I don't know if any of that is part of your song, but I'm just saying that this is such an important time in our world, and to be able
Mhm.
to have things that connect to this time that we connect with, is super powerful. So that's, yeah, no, that's awesome. It's an amazing way for you to be able to put out your feelings and your, your ideas into something that, I mean, and thank you for wanting to share that with other people, because that's always not necessarily easy to do either. So thank you for that. Um, I would also love to talk
And
about, I'm sure we'll continue talking about music after this, but I want to get into a little bit of your experience within, the NFT space and these VR worlds, because, like I said, you get brought up a ton on my streams, but in particular, I would love to talk about what how you got into crypto voxels and what you did there, because you are actually were the inspiration, for Conlin to get into crypto voxels, and obviously we all know that he created this like crazy cool area in Gangnam, but his experience walking through, he said your place in CV is what kind of like sealed the deal for him, and really got him
mhm.
interested, and other people have said that as well. So I would love to hear what your journey to CV was, and what you kind of think in general. I see you in Decentraland all the time. What's your feeling about these VR communities?
Mhm. It's a loaded question. All right, so I'm not sure I remember exactly how I came across CV. It was probably on OpenSea, checking out the rankings or something like that. I'm not sure. Um, I purchased my first parcel in May 2019, so it's like over a year ago. I don't remember how I came across it exactly, but at the time, I was heavy on Scent, the crypto social network, right? And crypto voxels was a way for me to create content, right? I'm a marketer, right? I think a lot of people might realize that at this point. And so I look at a lot of these platforms and tools as way to market Web3, right? So I use crypto voxels as a way to build community and also to showcase some of my art, and also just to introduce people to, what's going on in the space. And so like every so often I would create a post on Scent with something going on in my gallery, like whatever new that I built on the parcel or what have you. And then in August, I launched my social token Hue, and I started doing these like, I wouldn't really call them scavenger hunts, but I was bringing traffic to crypto voxels for people to redeem and claim some of my tokens.
Yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, that was a moment for me, because it was like when I had multiple people there at once, and it felt like an event almost, um so yeah, and thing with Central Lane, I really like the Central Lane. I think it has so much potential. Like I believe we're streaming right now, right? And in your
Yep.
new art gallery, like this is like next level shit. Like who's doing this? Like we're pioneering some new fascinating like technology here. So um I think the sky's the limit with these things.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you explored, Somnium at all? I'm just curious.
I have not. I mean, I've looked at the site and I've seen like tweets and screen captures of what's going on in there, but I've not actually downloaded the client and moved about the world.
Got it.
How about you? Have you?
No, not yet, but I've hopefully I'm going to be doing something with a really awesome person and group in there, but I myself need to explore it more. Um, and I regret that I haven't yet. It's just been kind of crazy, but it looks really cool. And like I
Okay.
always say on these, there's room and purpose for all of these different worlds to coexist in our space. So I'm
Hmm.
super excited to check out that a bit more as well. Um, so in when you're creating your galleries in these places and kind of like having these event or gatherings, I guess events kind of, you said it felt like an event when you were there. Did you have like any sort of realization of, because I had a little bit of this of, oh shit, I can do everything online. Like there's so many things that you can do that you don't need to. Obviously, it's really nice to be able to go to conferences and meet people in person, but it is a little bit of a personal
Yeah.
experience, even like versus doing a Zoom call like this, when you can just
Hmm.
be standing next to an avatar in world and talk to them. I want Decentraland to get voice chat because that'll be a lot better. But like CV when you can do voice chat, I mean, it just feels so crazy and so different. Do you have that same feeling as well?
Um, yeah. I mean, I think the audio can be improved.
Yeah.
See, I mean, I went to today, which was awesome. Shout out to everybody who participated in the whip today. Shout out to Rizzo and Matthew and John from Super Rare and everybody who drew. But yeah, like the audio for me was breaking up, a couple different times. So
Hmm.
I don't know. It's not perfect, but it's exciting. I think audio adds a new layer to it that it's going to get better over time. Um, with the Central Land, right? So I've been participating in the 10-day art they have going on,
Yep.
and sometimes like even I'll take the Super Rare Museum as an example, right? So when inside, they're piping audio into the actual museum. So like the curator is telling you about the artist and this piece, and like sometimes the artists are actually talking when you walk up to their work, like things like that. Like that shit is dope to me. Like I want to see more of that. Like I've seen there was another one where when I walked on the parcel, music started playing, or
Yeah.
even like in the Sugar Club when you walk through the doors, the music just starts playing. Like,
Yeah. Sugar Club is so cool. They did a really excellent job in Decentraland and CryptoVoxels. But yeah, no, I agree
or
that I want to see more of that as well because that's totally just a game changer when you can have that experience of like moving through, talking to people, but then also like having the audio just like gives you such a different experience. Easy and Crypto said audio is getting close to rap battle levels. Not quite there, but I think soon. That would be pretty
yeah,
cool. He's always talking about a rap battle. I need to see it happen,
no,
Easy. You need to make this work.
yeah, man, I got to see him perform, man.
Yeah, same. Mr. NFT, come check out Somnium live music, 360-degree views, zoned and controllable audio, live Twitch and YouTube streaming, and a lot more. See, Mr. NFT, he's like a madman with Somnium, and what they're doing there is just so insane. So yes, no, I agree. We need to do a field trip all together. Um, but okay, so with your, I want to switch a little bit. I want to talk about how you even figured out scent because you become one of like the the most well-known people on scent, and you drive a lot of traffic to scent, and you also drive a lot of uh, scent people to the things that you're writing about and that you're posting about. How did you get into scent in the beginning?
In the beginning, I believe I was in a trust wallet, and they had like recommendations for that. I believe Scent was a recommendation. I think that's how I came across it. It was on a DApp platform. I don't know if it was DApp.com or one of these stated the DApps, or if it was the Trust Wallet, but it was one of those sites. Um, and yeah, like Scent 1.0 was the shit. at least in my opinion. Like I really like got excited about it and dove into it because it was weird to me. Like I didn't really understand the economics of it and like how to earn and how to use the bounty function. Like
Yeah.
so the whole process, everything that I've been doing for the past 18 months has been nothing but just one big experiment. Like I'm just experimenting with things. I'm trying here, I'm trying this, I'm trying that. Really just trying to taste as much as possible so I can process what I want to do next. But so Scent like really allowed me to build a community. So that's pretty much been my focus, community and impact. Like that's what I wanted to focus on, and Scent really allowed me to do that. And so shout out to everybody who was in my Hue group. Shout out to everybody who were there in the early days. About 2 months ago, they transitioned to Scent 2.0. And to be quite honest, I haven't posted in 2 months since they launched the new
Oh,
version.
wow. That's a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. I'm just, if I'm speaking candidly, I'm not really a fan of the UX UI. Like the experience for me is not the same. Clearly, they've changed a lot. And just personally for me, I don't care for it too much. Just my personal taste. I would like to see some things change. They will, they won't. I don't know. But the community is still there, and the community is awesome. So.
Any big points you think that they could change that maybe the community can start asking about it and maybe it will change? Like, is there anything big that's kind of glaring to you, or is it just kind of like the whole UX experience?
Well, I think they changed one of the big things that was glaring to me, which was they had horizontal scrolling, which I understand that there was probably a reason behind that, but just the experience of having to scroll horizontally was just weird to me. So I believe they have removed that, and now it's just vertical scrolling. But like um, formatting your post the way it used to be felt almost more like a Tumblr or like a Medium. Now it's like it feels weird to me, like the way they have the boxes set
It feels
up,
like
and like it
Instagram, but
just
it's
doesn't
a
feel as intuitive.
yeah, it feels like it's visuals like trying to be Instagram with the squares, and I could be wrong, but it's a medium platform, so it doesn't work as well for writing kind of thing. But
Yeah,
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 no, I get what you mean. Well, you heard that Scent. Make some changes. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
But no,
No
it's
shade,
it's
man.
good.
Just my opinion.
No, it's good to hear because, of course, they've also changed a lot of the mechanics behind the scenes. So if if people are happy with that, and really it's just the user experience that is the biggest issue, that's pretty easy to change in comparison to changing the back end of things. So no, it's great. It's great for to hear, for sure. Easy in Crypto also said, um, I struggle with the formatting on mobile, so that's also good feedback. And you're getting some people elbow. I'm sorry if that's not how you say your name, but I'm
What's
also
up, bro?
missing the old scent. Is that do you know is it elbow?
Yep, I
Um,
don't know how to pronounce it either, but I know exactly who it is.
okay, cool. Uh, but yeah, looking back, I think it was nearly perfect before. So it seems like a lot of people have the same sentiment in the chat. Hey, DCL blogger, nice to see you. Um, so that's very cool. I also want to now switching gears again that we talked about scent because you just do so many different things. But I want to talk about your art. I feel like your style, you like always have. There's the Connie color, and I know that like that's always a, when I think of Connie, like I immediately represent or immediately in my head comes that color. But also like your art is really recognizable, and you have like a really unique style. I would love to just chat a little bit about your art and what inspires you and what kind of what you're creating for some people that might not be familiar with your art, which I'm sure people are. But
Yeah. So like I kind of said earlier, for the past 18 months, I've really just been diving back into the creative process and just experimenting and tinkering. Like I use a variety of software programs. Sometimes I'll use 4 or 5 different pieces of software on one piece. Sometimes I'll finish a piece in a day. Sometimes I'll come back to a piece over a week, over 2 weeks. It all depends, right? This for me, there's never really like a set process per se. Sometimes I don't necessarily know what I'm creating when I'm creating it, unless it's like retro tech, which is like, I don't know what it's, like this passion for like nostalgia, like
Mm-hmm.
old shit that just reminds me of my childhood. Like get this, right? So everything is moving digital. We're in this new norm, this new world, right? So like I'm an 80s baby. So anything that can remind me of my youth and my childhood when things were like simpler, like cassette tapes and flop disks, like I used the Rubik's Cube and different things like that. Like it just ties me back to my youth, which is why I think I'm so into it. Um, so I've been using a lot of retro tech as subject matter. But like lately, what I've been focusing on, and shout out to Lev too, because I purchased like a self portrait I made on Super Rare,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm also into like doing self portraits and stuff, and that's where I focus on my energy. I want to do more music, but also more self portraits, mainly because I'm not on being on camera, and I'm trying to get over that. And so like one of the ways I do that is using my face as a canvas and as a
Yeah.
subject, right? So
And did you say it was
um
Lev who purchased the piece?
yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
sweet. Lev is awesome and has Lev. Have you seen his website? I don't know how often he updates it, but his website with all of his NFTs that he collects, he like made his own gallery. So
Yep, I've
cool.
seen it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really cool. I like that you're using the art to, again, like your art is super personal to who you are, and literally using yourself within the art is a really cool way to like introduce your visual like to the world and to your collectors. Um, and yeah, in the comments, Easy and Crypto said the Nostalgia King. He's like, yep, like I said, Nostalgia King, because he said Nostalgia King before you even were talking about that. So,
Oh Lord.
and you have such a, I feel like, unique color palette. Is there a reason? I feel like color always tells so much about people's artwork. Is there a reason why you've been drawn to those colors? And more interestingly, have you been using those colors for a very long time in your art?
Hmm. Good question. So there's a story behind that. I'll tell you that. 1 second.
Okay.
But first, as a child, right, I used to have like this book, and it was just like colors, but it would describe the mood and the meaning of different colors, right? Reds and yellows for like exciting, make you hungry. So McDonald's uses that, you know.
Yeah.
Blue is trustworthy, Facebook, shit, right? So I was really big into color and the meaning behind color, but the way I landed on the color that I use now, which is like a chartreuse yellow, which I call Danky. Like that's the name I gave the color. The hex code is it's Danky. If you ever want to reference the color, it's Danky. But the way I came across it was on Scent actually, because back on Scent 1.0, you had to find the color for your dot, right? They didn't avatar. You basically identified yourself with a color and your name. And so I just wanted to find a color that nobody else was using, like, and so I just stumbled across this particular code, and I just started using it from there. So
That's cool. I love that. It's a good color and it's eye catching. And like I said, when I think of that, think of you, I think of that color. When I see that color, I think of you. So it's a really good kind of matchup there. Danky,
sweet.
danky it is. um, and so I guess the other question: have you been obviously that color you used a lot recently, but the other sort of like colors that you're using, like these super vibrant colors, and especially in like the retro stuff I've seen you create, is it because that just lends itself so well to the content?
Mm-hmm. Um, Sometimes, so I was going through this period of like doing colorful pieces. Um, Let me just take a step back. So I like creating variants. I think variants, especially in the NFT space, are like really underutilized. Like I see you do a lot of variant work. Coldy does some variant work, and I like that idea, the concept of being able to, recreate from the same piece. But so I was doing like colored pieces, and then I would just like take away all the color and make like a monochrome black and white sort of piece as well. Uh, Sarah Zucker, right? I don't know if you know her, but she's an
Yep.
artist in the space, and she does a lot of like VHS created
Yeah.
pieces. And she uses like all these wild and trippy colors and shit. And like she really inspired me to just like just say fuck it and just jump in like all the way with color and just experiment. So she was an inspiration. I would definitely say that.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And her stuff is, I think I've seen it, like where there's a room and then like the TV is playing. Is that her? Okay,
Hmm.
okay, yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
totally. Because her stuff, yeah, no, that's interesting that it's obviously different from your work, but it has similar like themes, which she's using like VHSs, which obviously we don't use anymore, or at least I don't. But um, yeah, it's funny in the chat, everyone. The Sarah show. Yeah, I love Sarah VHS art. I need to check out more of her work. Thank you for reminding me with that. Um, that's awesome. So,
Yeah. What?
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say, her partner also creates work in the space. She was exhibiting in this super rare museum. I apologize, I don't remember her name, but she's also in the space as well. She
Oh,
does some
cool.
great work.
Very cool. I'll have to check out both of them then. Um, do you know if Sarah has posted her partner's work?
I want to say yes.
Okay,
Twitter, maybe on Twitter.
cool. Yeah, I'll check both out. Um, do you want to talk a little bit about your social currency? Because there are, I feel like you were probably one of the first artists that I know of to create one. And then I've also seen a lot of other artists pop up that have created them, which is really interesting. Um, and I guess I would be interested in just knowing what you see, like what you're using your social currency for, and maybe in the future if you see it being used for anything else or if you like the model you have going now.
Um, so yeah, Hue actually was created almost a year ago, August 29th. I plan to do something really special for the community who holds Hue on the 1 year anniversary. So stay tuned for that. But right now I'm using it like a reward token, right? So um, this is another thesis I have in this space is that crypto incentivized social actions are like really underutilized, right? This was something that Cent allowed me to do was to incentivize people to take certain actions. And so this is exactly what I use Hue for as well. So I reward my supporters for supporting me. So if that means liking a tweet, tweeting a tweet, or opening and reading my weekly newsletter, or whatever the goal or objective is, I reward my community for taking these actions that I valuable. Um, that's today. It could be used for a variety of different things. People can use them to redeem rewards on roll. They could use it to purchase NFTs on a variety of storefronts on OpenSea. They can apply liquidity and earn the transaction fees. They can do all types of stuff with the token today. There should be some exciting news coming really, really in the very near future regarding Hue. So people can stay tuned for that. As far as what more I will be doing with the token in the future, I can't say 100%, but it most likely will pertain to music. So.
Okay, that's awesome to hear. Where can people get Hue if they're interested in Hue?
Yeah, they could sign up to my newsletter at danky.art. Um, they can follow on Twitter or Discord and they can participate in some of these actions that I put forth and they can earn that way. Or if they want to purchase some directly, they can go to gothue.com, 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 and they can get it there.
Cool. Easy and Crypto said I decided to redeem some Hue for a random collectible on roll. Seems like a good time. That's awesome. Post your collectible that you got in the Discord to EC. Let's see what you traded it for.
I
Um,
think I gave him an Avistar for one of those. Was that him? I think I gave him an Avistar. Sorry.
oh no, yeah, no, that's awesome. Um, follow Connie for sure. Um, sorry, I just want to make sure I'm not missing any of these comments. Traded some while we're live for a reward. Oh, that's really cool. I'm excited to see what you have coming out with that. I don't keep up as much with the social currencies, but I think when they're done in the right way and when they're really to bring your community closer, and to incentivize them for different things. I have my own ways of incentivizing my community members, but I think it's really fun to just experiment with different types of things. And that's awesome that that is working well for you in your community. And it's exciting that it also gives you a platform and a way to continue to add on to what that means for a hue holder. I love the name of it, by the way, too. That's a really good, that's a really cool name for it.
Thank you.
Um, oh yeah, Easy said got a sweet avatar the first time, so you're right about the avatar. Um,
Okay.
Very cool. So, what can we? Obviously, we have your. You have some music coming up. What else can we be excited to like look forward to in the future for your work, or is it kind of just like you're going with the flow and seeing what's coming up as it comes up?
Um, Good question. So, like I said, I spent a lot of time experimenting, and I think it was a needed process for me to go through to taste and touch and feel all these different options, whether it be minting on my own contract or minting on one of these, like what I would consider marketplace gallery contracts, like a Maker's Place or a Super Rare or something like that. Um, so, what I want to do is, well, I've closed down the contract I do have now. I won't be minting on that any further. But what I want to do is launch a new contract, hopefully within the next 2 weeks or so. A more advanced contract, a more powerful contract that's better for collectors and gives me more flexibility. And so, yeah, that should be hopefully that's here within 2 weeks. Yeah.
Is that where is that contract going to be?
Yes, so this is going to be an Infinity contract on chain
Oh, cool.
metadata and storage on the permaweb via Arweave and also hashing on IPFS. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's awesome. They're doing some really cool stuff with all of the back end of everything. So that's exciting to hear. Um, oh yeah, and Easy Crypto said Connie and Hugh really brought a lot of attention to social currencies, and Bits4 says second that. That's true because, like I said, you were the first artist that I knew that was doing something like that. Um, so that's always great to hear when a creator is always trying to make things better for their communities. And I'm just going to make a quick comment about that because a majority of the artists in this space are doing that and are doing things in a really awesome way. I have also seen some, not just artists, but even platforms do things in a way that it seems a little bit like a cash grab, and maybe that's too intense of a word to use. But what I will say is that I appreciate and I really respect um, the work that I opened my door. I told Connie this before we started. I opened my door earlier today because it was such a nice day, and now I have a fly in here, so that's why I'm waving my hand. But I really do have a lot of respect for creators that are always trying to better their contracts or the stuff that they're putting out, and want to make sure that their NFTs will live beyond themselves for their collectors. So I really appreciate that, and just want to say that to other creators out there, and even people who are wanting to create. Do your research and figure out where is the right place to create for yourself and for your collectors long term. So thank you for focusing on that a little bit, Connie. That's awesome
Mhm.
to hear. Uh, if you guys have questions for Connie directly, feel free and post them in the chat, um, and I'll make sure to ask them here. Um, and I want to. Oh, sorry, I was confused what was happening in the chat. Um, but yeah, you can just subscribe by clicking subscribe, and also make sure you're following Connie on Twitter because he puts out really cool stuff. And definitely follow or add. How can they get added to your? How can they add themselves to your newsletter? Because your newsletter, you're really on top of those. I'm impressed by how you put those out.
Um, they could actually, so if they go to danky.art,
Uh huh.
that's DANKY.ART, um, give it like 5 seconds or so, and at the bottom of the page, the email sign up form should pop up, and they can subscribe right there.
Okay, perfect. Definitely make sure to do that. We have a couple questions coming in. So, Mag NFT, Connie, you should start with a stamp collection, or you started with a stamp collection as NFT. Is that correct?
No, no. I mean, to him, I understand why he says that, but that's yeah, not correct. Yeah.
What is
So
he
I'll
thinking of?
clarify. So no, he's right. As far as like tokenizing on Ethereum, that would be correct. But I initially tokenized on the Wax platform. Well, this is before the Wax platform actually fully launched. This is when I believe they were still on EOS. Since launched their own variant of EOS. But anyway, long story short, that was in 2018. But yes, in 2019, the first thing I did was the stamp collection. You are correct. Yeah.
Got it. Open NFT. Any more music NFT collab coming soon?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, Easy in Crypto. Connie's writing is very clear and digestible. Highly recommend it. Yes, agreed. Um,
Oh, thanks, man.
Easy said, wow, you were early on Wax. Are you still doing anything on Wax? Just curious.
No, I'm paying attention. Like I saw what Tops did with the Garbell kids, which was pretty fascinating, and they just actually mentioned they have some deal with Marvel as well. So um, yeah, I might participate as a collector, but I don't know about minting. So
Got it. Open NFT said who in all caps for the collab question.
oh, for music.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe
Stick
it's a
around towards the
secret.
end, easy.
Yeah. Or the open NFT, but yeah. Um, Let me know if you guys have more questions. I thought of one that I actually want to ask you is
Mhm.
what is your experience? You have a lot of experience with tokenizing on a lot of different platforms in a lot of different ways. What is your experience on different platforms? And you don't have to like name anyone in specific if you want, but in general, do you find yourself creating like depending on the type of NFT, you launch it on the different platforms, or is there one that you kind of like lean towards in general?
Uh, yeah. So that's an interesting question because my plan moving forward is to mint on my NFT content. But yeah. So super rare is great for one of ones, right? But then you also have Maker's Place and uh, Own Origin who are doing additions, right? But the thing I, the thing that kind of bothers me about uh, Maker's Place and Known Origin, the way they have it set up, and maybe this is just like a little pet peeve and it's a minor thing, but to me it's like important. It's the whole provenance thing. Right? So when you create your tokens with them, you as the artist, your address that you're tokenizing with never actually owned that NFT. So if you
Mm.
look at the provenance on like OpenSea or whatever comes after, like you're not going to see that. That's only, I guess, if people really care that, oh, this is the address of the creator, he
I
created it, he
care.
actually held it. Like I
Yeah,
care
yeah.
about that shit.
I
Like
care. I care too.
yeah.
So that's
So
interesting. I didn't know that.
like Maker's Place, they use like a like a custodial hosted, maybe it's semi-custodial, however they want to describe it, but it's a
Doesn't
hosted
Super Rare
wallet.
also?
No, super rare custody, the tokens that you create, they go directly into your wallet until somebody
Okay.
purchases them. So
Got it.
yeah.
Got it. But is it your own? It's not your own contract with Super Rare, is it?
No, it's super rare's contract, but it's still minted with your address still in your actual wallet.
Got it. Okay, makes sense. Um, Another question. What are Connie Museum of Crypto Art? What are Connie's plans for his first supper layer on async? Good question.
Man, uh, that's a funny story. So he's talking about Tape Snake.
Yeah.
So first off, I just want to thank everybody. Like I'm super grateful to be a part of that piece because I don't think I was actually supposed to be a part of that piece. Um, I came on very late in the game. I came on in February and the piece launched in February, but I think conceptually it started in November of 2019. But nonetheless, so there are 22 layers on First Supper, right? And Snake happens to be layer two. It's the final layer. Um, and so for me, moving into doing more music and things like that, Tape Snake for me holds a very sentimental and personal plus First Supper is like I think the highest selling crypto art piece to date, right? It was like
Yeah, as
23
far as
some
I know.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get to own a piece of that. So I'm still gonna hold on to it for a while, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, nope, that's totally fair. And I'm super happy you were a part of that piece. And I thought, I mean, you brought something really cool to the table, literally, because there isn't much on the table, but which is also kind of cool because it's like, Matt Kane, even when we were talking, he was like, it's sort of like like the table is open and it's our job to like put something on there and kind of like make the space. So that was super awesome to work on that, and you be a part of that as well. Um, so Museum of Crypto Art, sorry, but your bids probably uh, aren't gonna be accepted anytime soon if you have a bid on that piece. Easy and
Oh yeah,
crypto.
we spoke about that, I think.
Oh,
Sorry.
really? Oh.
Yeah.
um, Easy and crypto question: are you still playing with the idea of music videos, animated or otherwise?
Yes.
There you go. Um, yeah, Easy said that's a real piece of history. Museum of Crypto Art. No. Gemini Rising Media. Which do you prefer, Decentraland or CV, and why? Oh, you stole my question for the end.
Oh man. Uh, hmm. I like them both for different reasons, but I would lean more to CL only because of the aesthetic. The aesthetic to me is just
You would lean more towards. Sorry, you broke up. Which one?
oh, Decentraland. Yeah.
Decentraland. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. And just purely because of visuals.
Yeah, I'm a visual person. It
Yeah.
just looks and feels better to me. But CV is more user-friendly. You're able to do a lot more as a user. Um, but DCL.
That's fair. Um, no, I'm just kidding. Gemini Rising Media. That's okay. Uh, oh, snagging a rapid fire. Yeah. Um, okay. So, do you want to? Do you think this is a good time to share some music with us? I'm
Oh yeah.
excited.
Music.
Also, I'll before you play it, I'll just warn you guys in the chat that before this, I was trying to figure out how to turn the volume down on the streaming service, and I can't figure it out. So if you guys are watching this and like have headphones in or something, just turn it down a little bit because it comes out a little loud. But it's awesome, and if you're listening to it on your computer, keep the volume up, and we'll just hear some music.
Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna like kind of intro everything and press like what's going on with it. Let me share my screen. Uh, can you guys see the Google Drive?
It
Josie,
just
can you see
takes
it?
1 second to load. There we go. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, so a lot of stuff in here is like the self-portrait stuff I was working on. I can show you guys some of these pieces if you want. Um,
I love the
so
piece
for the
that you did
music,
for this show. It looks awesome.
this guy, yeah, yeah. So actually, here's speaking of variants, right? So this is like a purple variant. Anyway, I have like all these
Oh, I
variants. I
like
have a
that
whole
one.
bunch of shit that like nobody's ever seen. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting there's like a delay. So
Oh, sorry if I'm talking over you. I don't mean to.
it's all good. It's all good. All right, so this is the cover art. This is the cover art for the song. All right, so the itself is called Be Afraid. All right, so the concept of the song is it's really talking to my and whoever is listening and telling you not to be afraid about the current events going on in the world, not to be afraid about COVID, not to be afraid about the riots in the street, and be afraid about um, all the shit that's going on. So in the background of this piece, you'll see that there's free speech written. Now, guys cannot, but the background says free speech, and that's kind of like a play on words, right? It means a couple of different things. it's free speech in the sense that when we wear these masks, right, it opens up our mouths and our ability to speak freely, right? So it might be for public safety, but at the same time, psychologically, it's just like, damn, like I can't breathe, right, per se, and I can't speak freely, like without the damn mask. But then also at the same time, it's just like a lot of people on YouTube, their platforms are being censored for speaking freely and maybe speaking against what the CDC says or whatever the situation is. There's censorship going. So it's really about the First Amendment, and it's really about just like our ability to speak freely and candidly. Anyway, so I'm gonna play the song for you. Hopefully it's not, hold on, it says internet connection is unstable. Can you still see this?
Yeah, I can still see it okay. And that meaning was super powerful, by the way. And I completely see that in the image when I look at it.
Awesome, thank you. The strength of a nation losing it. Hold on. So hopefully it's not too loud for you guys. This here is like a video. Like I said, this song was created during the quarantine process with not the best mic, and might not be the best mix, but it is I was able to create and get off my chest. So you can read the lyrics and listen. And without further ado, make this bigger. It was actually like 40, but at Google Drive makes this doesn't look as sharp. But anyway, here we go. The strength of a nation losing its patience. You see what happens with absolute power, attributes of tyranny, taking all your rights and your abilities, looking like conspiracies. Never underestimate the possibilities when they want to take your liberties. Under siege, unbelievable. Gotta unbelieve what they've been teaching you. Tell me how it feel the way they treating you. Locked inside your home is how they keeping you. And what the people do. Listen, the system is breaking at the seams. It's the matrix, it's make believe what it seems. Light travels through time and space, no time to waste. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, yeah. Decentralize the decade. Don't be afraid. So don't be afraid.
Damn, that was good. I love the part where you say you have to unbelieve what they're teaching you. I think that's the words, right? That's right. Is super powerful, because that has so many connections to so many things that are going on right now, but have also been going on for a really long time. And obviously there are a good portion of people in this space because they have found a way to, or trying to find a way to, not depend on the government so much and kind of disconnect themselves in some sort of way and have financial freedom. But I love that part, unbelieve what they're teaching you. That was super powerful.
Thank you. I appreciate that feedback. That means a lot.
Yeah, the chat loves it. They're wondering if they can listen to this song somewhere right now, or if it's not released yet.
No, so this will actually be on my Infinity contract.
Sweet. So. Okay, I can't. Or are there gonna be multiple copies of it, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing an edition of 10. I'm not really sure exactly, but I was thinking 10.
Okay, well, I'll definitely be getting one. This is so cool, and I'm just making sure I'm reading the comments. Where DCL Blogger said, "I want to re-listen." Damn. Very timely song. Are you working with any other musicians in the crypto space? Need this? Yeah, want to hear more. Do you mind replaying it one more time? There's a few people that want to listen to it one more time if you're up for that.
Oh yeah, sure. Hold on.
Awesome.
Here we go.
The strength of a nation losing its patience. You see what happens with absolute power, attributes of tyranny, taking all your rights and your abilities, looking like conspiracies. Never underestimate the possibilities when they want to take your liberties. Under siege, unbelievable. Gotta unbelieve what they've been teaching you. Tell me how it feel the way they treating you. Locked inside your home is how they keeping you. And what the people do. Listen, listen, the system is breaking at the seams. It's the matrix, it's make believe what it seems. Light travels through time and space, no time to waste. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, yeah. Decentralize the decade. Don't be afraid.
Thanks, guys.
Damn, that was so good. Easy. It's gonna be a bum rush when these drop, which is true. Maybe you should do 21. I'm like, do more than 10.
Hey.
This is, yeah, no, it's super powerful, and like you said, it's just so representative of the times right now. And beyond that, I mean, you are super talented. Like, not only are the lyrics really strong, but like the music and your vocals, like it sounds so good. So congrats on a really cool piece.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, Gemini Rising asked, are you minting on Mint Base? Connie said these will be minted on Infinity, which if you're not sure where that is, hopefully someone in the chat can link some information about them so you could find that.
Yeah. Yep. So essentially, I'm gonna it'll be on my own contract, and you'll be able to get it on OpenSea. Bless you.
Sorry. Oh, so they'll be sold on OpenSea. That makes sense. I'm super excited for these. This is awesome. And you also, I'm assuming that the cover of the actual NFT will be this artwork, correct?
So yeah, I was thinking about, I have a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts, and maybe you guys can help me flesh these out over time, but like, I wanted to do the cover art and the video maybe as a bundle, something like that. I don't know, still playing around with some ideas.
That would be really cool, because imagine, like, I mean, if I had the bundle and I put up the NFT like in CryptoVoxels or Decentraland, so the video can play, and when you click play, like it plays the song and the video. That'd be pretty cool.
Absolutely. And so I wanted to say, like, as far as like there were about operations and things like that. So one of the things that I've been exploring is creating the music, right? But then also having other artists collab on top of the music, right? So I have an early example of that with one of the artists in the space. A lot of you guys may know him. It's Urban. And so we're actually working on a piece.
Don't be afraid, yeah, you got what it takes.
Sorry. So he has the song, and he's using his own artistic style to create. So this is like a little preview. It's about 10 seconds or so, 12 seconds. You can take a look.
Don't be afraid, yeah, you got what it takes. The strength of a nation losing its patience. You see what happens with absolute power, attributes of tyranny, taking all your rights.
So this is a preview. He does a lot of lens-based with like microscopes and liquid and dye and like different things like that.
Cool.
But this will be, this will be a variant. So
okay, and I'm sorry, I feel like I don't know if this happened for you guys in the stream. My screen, I think, froze when you were playing this 10-second clip. Do you want to try maybe playing it one more time? Sorry.
Okay.
And maybe it was just on my end.
You're actually choppy. Your vocal is choppy.
Don't be afraid of what it takes. The strength of a nation losing its patience. You see what happens with absolute power, attributes of tyranny, taking all your rights and your abilities.
Yeah, it froze for me. I don't know it might
work for you?
No, it froze. Like I don't even see now I see the ending screen, but I didn't see the 10-second video. But Oh, it didn't freeze. Oh, okay, maybe it's working for everyone else. Maybe it's just my end. Um, but regardless, even if they didn't see it, it'll be out soon, and you already got a sneak peek of the song, so you'll see it soon. um, that's really awesome. That's awesome that you are collaborating with another artist and allowing them to kind of put, their style and mash it up with your work. That's something that's hard to do, kind of letting go some of those reins. But that looks really awesome.
Yep. So if anybody's interested or has ideas for like animation or like they want to experiment and explore, my DMs are always open. My email is open, so feel free to contact me. We can chat. Um,
Nice. That's good to know. It was just a different screen for me. All right. Well, I'll watch that back later and see if it worked. But this is super exciting. I love that you are putting your face, especially with the music, because I think it makes so much sense because it's you
mhm,
creating and kind of putting your feelings and emotion into a song, and that is also the visual of
mhm.
you. And I like this one especially kind of looking down at the world. That's super powerful.
Yeah, I really love this piece. I call it Firmament, and it has a lot of different meanings to it. I don't know if you ever heard about the flat Earth theory versus the round Earth theory, what have you, but
Yeah.
the idea is that like, yeah, so like this is myself looking down on the Earth as an example, right? Um, so I'm very spiritual, very deep when it to my spirituality, and a lot of us believe that we're souls, right? And a soul is nothing more than a star, right? So my face here kind of represents my soul or my star that's up above, kind of like looking down on the firmament, in the background, which is digitized, kind of like the Matrix feel is like the whole simulation theory, the idea that we're living in a virtual reality. So there's different layers of meaning and understanding, and it's very personal, a very personal piece for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you feel strongly about the simulation theory?
Absolutely. The book I'm reading right now is called My Toe. It's an acronym. TOE stands for Theory of Everything.
Hmm.
So it's the big theory of everything. It's written by a gentleman by the name of Tom Campbell, and it's his theory on how this world is created, the fact that it is a virtual reality. We're actually outside of this realm, but we're moving our avatars and interacting in the simulation, the Matrix. So
Yeah, I
it's all
definitely
fascinating.
encourage people to watch either YouTube videos on it and even I haven't read that book personally, but read more on it because it is super interesting. Um, it's a very interesting theory, and a lot of people that I'm really close to also feel strongly about the simulation theory. So I think it's really cool to explore.
Definitely, definitely.
Oh, I like this one
And
too. Danky,
this is
the color Danky.
thank thank you. Yeah, so this is actually the read part is telling me to read the book, uh, the one I just so this a reminder piece for me, and I have the matrix type code in the glasses, which I can read the code. You read code?
Can I read code? You said.
Yeah,
Yeah. Some. I mean, it depends, but
yeah,
at a basic level, yes.
yeah. Basically, yeah, me too. Like I want to be a little more proficient at reading different languages and writing code, and
Yeah.
I think it's a very good skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took a coding boot camp, so I definitely know some stuff, but I'm not confident in it. You know what I mean? And I haven't like brushed up on
Mhm.
a lot of it in a while, but it's a super. I mean, hats off to everyone who software engineers and all these developers creating crazy shit because it's a hard. It's very hard. Front end stuff, I'm definitely a lot better with, but once we get to the back end stuff, I'm like, oh my god, my head is spinning. It's a lot to remember.
Yes,
Um,
totally.
Connie Digital Industrial Remix DM Inbound, nice. Electric Disc. Uh, Easy. People need to read more of anything good for the brain. Very true. Um, yeah, coders are a
Hmm.
special breed. Yes, they are. And thank you and shout out to all of those people out there. This is awesome. Thank you for sharing some of your like personal work that isn't even released yet. I mean, that's so cool and I really appreciate it. And I'm super excited for that drop. And I will definitely be getting one of those because I mean, now it also has so much more of a sentimental meaning. Getting to see a little bit of the preview and listening to that from you. And I just really enjoy your work and your music. And I like your music. I bought some music from you before, and I think it's really cool. And I'm excited to kind of do that again. And like I said, kind of bringing this full circle to the beginning of the stream, you are such a pioneer in this space, and to be creating music that is super powerful and really well done. You are, you're only you're one of a very small group in the space doing that and doing it well. So thank you for sharing that with us. I really appreciate it.
No doubt. No doubt. Thank you for giving me the platform to share it.
Yeah, of course. I want to go through. I do at the end of these like some rapid fire questions. Um, they're not too crazy, but do you want to do some of those right now?
Yeah, let's go.
Awesome. Okay. Bitcoin or Ethereum?
In what context?
Every
Sorry.
context. If one of them has to disappear, so and you can only
Uh,
keep one. That's the
XRP.
hardest question. You said XRP.
XRP. Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
look, so this XRP for payments, but I like Ethereum for smart contracts.
Okay. All right. So you'll knock out Bitcoin of the two.
Yes.
Got it. Go back 1 year or forward 1 year.
Back.
Back. Okay. Only one other person has said that so far.
I'll tell you why, because I'm heading directly to Wuhan and I'm shutting down this entire operation before it even takes hold. Okay.
All right. All right. Last NFT or physical art piece that you purchased.
The last one that I purchased, oh man, it was probably a DCL wearable. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I think so.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl.
Same. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Dogs. Do you have any dogs?
I did growing up. I do not currently have a dog.
Okay. Decentraland, cryptovoxels, or Somnium Space? Which I think you answered this a little bit earlier, but
Yep, Decentraland.
got it. Window or aisle seat?
Hate. I would take the aisle seat
Aisle seat. Someone
only
in.
because
Oh,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. Yeah.
Only because I know I'm gonna have to use the bathroom, and I hate like excusing, like trying to get over people and past
Yeah.
people, and
That's
yeah,
fair.
fuck that.
Yeah. If it's a really short flight, would you do window or you still just prefer aisle? Safety.
Aisle.
Aisle. Someone in the past or present in crypto that you'd like to meet.
In the past or present in crypto that I would like to meet. Maybe Rob Beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite food?
I eat a lot of salad. It's pretty boring. I eat salads and smoothies a lot, but
All right, very
so
healthy diet. Um, if you were to indulge, what would you have? Like if you were like craving something
hmm.
that you know you shouldn't, that you normally don't eat.
Have you ever heard of salmon Oscar?
No, what is that?
It's like a grilled piece of salmon,
Uh huh.
but it's like over a bed of asparagus, and it comes with like lump crab meat and like this
Yum.
sauce, this buttercream sauce.
Oh
Like,
my
oh
god.
man,
Okay, I'm
yeah.
starving. I didn't have time to eat dinner before this, so I'm gonna. It's actually funny. I'm having salmon tonight, so maybe I'll put some extra butter on it just to Now that you got me craving that. Um, texting or calling?
Texting.
Texting. Would you want to live forever?
Not in this realm.
No? In a different one, maybe?
Yep.
Okay. Um, and the last question, describe the NFT space with 3 words.
Only the beginning.
All right. I love it. That's a good phrase to live by, and that's very true. We're so early in this space. It's actually crazy how early we are. I'm sure by the time this blows up, it'll be interesting to see who's still here and doing what. So I completely agree with your comment. Um, you just made everyone hungry, by the way, with your salmon Oscar explanation. And
Sorry,
Aggro
guys.
Cat said, "I love this freaking guy." Same. This was
Oh,
awesome.
thanks, man.
If there's anything else you want to say, for maybe like your Twitter handle or how people can reach out to you if they don't know, or anything else you want to say before we end the stream.
Uh, sure. So my Twitter handle is at Connie Digital. A lot ask, yes, Connie is really my first name. You can go to danky.art. You can subscribe to the newsletter, or you can send me a text. I'll give you my number in a second here.
So he really
It
does prefer
is,
texting.
yeah, shoot me a text. Hold on. It's my community number. It's 567-229-1724.
Nice. Awesome. I don't know if we've
Oh,
ever gotten anyone's number on the stream. So thank you
there
for
you go.
sharing that. um, Perfect. Well, you guys know how to reach Connie, and thank you guys so much for, as usual, just being in the chat. I always appreciate you guys showing up to these, and of course, it just makes for a better show. So, thank you again, Connie. This was the second to last stream of this season. We have one more gym next week, and then that's the first 21 episodes, and then I'll take a small break before season 2. But if you guys ever have questions for myself or Connie, you know where to reach us and reach out. Connie, thank you so much for coming on this stream. It was just so nice to hear more about your background and kind of your passions in this space. And I especially appreciate you sharing that folder with us, showing us some of your new art coming up and talking to us about, using your self-portrait within these pieces. And then also that super amazing song, Don't Be Afraid. Is that the name of the song? Don't Be
Yep,
Afraid?
you
Okay.
got it.
Don't Be Afraid. I'm super stoked to see that drop. And it will be my first Infinity created NFT that I'll probably be purchasing. And I'm super excited for that one. So thank you for sharing it. And thank you for coming on here. I really appreciate it. And I really enjoyed this show.
Great. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I had a great time, and I look forward to doing it again.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, guys, we'll see you at the next one. See you later. Bye.
Peace.